dorsiflex or cupping his wrist.
Yep.
Now, that turn grip and cup grip is the most mobile grip, so you can get a lot of power like that. But if you have the couple movement of uncocking and twisting the face, it's also a volatile grip if you let the shaft raise up. So if I was using that grip, the last thing I would ever want would be any ulnar coming through the ball, because then I'd be getting the most closing with the face. So I'd just make there's the center, there's the radius, here's the tangent, the ground, okay? If I just box his head in for a reference, put dots on his hips, just quick and dirty here. Whenever Mike swings back, I notice the left knee bends and moves in a little bit. And I can see with the upper body, not much, it's hard to see for his stripe there, but I can see a little bit of translation back, but not much. So essentially his hips have turned, his right leg is extended, his left knee is flexed, and his upper body is relatively stable. It's not moving back and forth a whole bunch. When he comes down, you can see his hips move towards the target as they begin opening. So they're moving forward. The upper center is staying stable. The one thing that was obvious to me coming through was the thin hitting. And you can see how the left wrist, the club is passing his left wrist. All right, so the radius, you can see the up. So here's the arm, there's the arm. You see how the shaft is passing the arm pretty quick. So, and I would identify that club passing the arm as a component that's making it thin and is reducing the hook.
Yeah.
Remember we just had that conversation there, right? It's doing both. And I think that you are doing that term, or that in the plane of the palmar and dorsiflex, or the underneath plane like this of the wrist, is a little bit fast.
Okay.
And that's the high trajectory and the thin hitting.
To try and take the draw off.
To try to take the draw off.
Yeah.
So then the question is why would he need to take the draw off so much? Which I think we're going to see that he twists the face pretty close to the arc on the back swing. Okay. So quite a bit of dorsiflex there. Can you do a grab there on that? And I would just say also too, Mike, is that you have a little bit of side tilt coming through that makes your right shoulder stay back and down.
Sure.
Which I think is also some of the contact problem. But I think I'll see that better from down the line. So if I just sum that up, he's got a turn and cup grip. He swings back, and we'll see from the top. We can see it if we look close here that the face is closed to the shaft. It's changed its orientation, and the wrist is flattened out.
Yep.
And then when you come through, you're doing the Tom Watson where you're trying to take the hook out.
Sure.
And the upshot of taking the hook out is that it's changing pretty fast, which is making the ball go extremely high, a lot of spin. And then the ones where you do have the descent right, you pull draw.
Yeah. Just a quickie from a teaching point of view.
Yeah.
We noticed that the ball position was way forward.
Yeah, I'd say there's a little forward, but I'd not say way forward.
Okay.
With the driver or more
no,
driver?
All of it. I mean, it was the relationship to the driver being forward was exactly the same to the relationship between the iron being forward.
I'd say little. So if you look at, have a look there, okay? Just come around.
Yeah.
So it depends on. So I may have it. I can't see very well there, but I think that's the shoulder.
I'm with you.
In which case, it's a little forward, but not a lot because his head is a little bit forward.
Okay, I'm with you on that. 100%.
My shoulder turn is quite open typically.
Well,
so
we're going to see that.
Have you seen that? Because that's called, because we both stood face on, and it was
looked like it was flat.
Yeah, and it,
In
yeah,
the driver it was.
yeah, it was right. Okay,
Yeah.
So I would say that to the center, it's a little
we're
full,
not a million,
but not a
but
lot.
not. Yeah, it's not a
lot.
massive issue.
Right.
Yeah.
But I may tell him to move it back, but it's.
Yeah,
I would
it's
say
not.
it's 2 balls, not 3.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's a little, but not a lot.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So Grant's, by comparison, when he comes through here to hit the ball,
Yeah.
the overtaking rate of the wrist to the shaft. Right, there's a little bit more roll here, and this one's cupping and going underneath.
Sure.
And I would say thin, spin,
Yeah.
high.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what we've not seen, if I were like that, it'd probably be more drop, lower,
Yeah.
more drop.
Exactly,
Yeah.
which we
Got
did
it.
see on a couple. Right, that first driver you
Yeah.
hit was a.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, good.
Okay, so the other thing is I would say that if I look at this will come up. Remember when I said there's too much tilt? If you look at his hips coming through, you can see Grant's hips are more level coming through, and you can see how your left hip is quite a bit higher than your right hip.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see coming down that you have too much tilt
Sure.
coming down, but I'm going to be able to see that better from down the line.
From the low to down the
From
right.
hip slide?
Yeah. So I think you have a quite. Very good. I like that one. Don't stop with it too. Don't do it continuously at a slow speed. Okay. Both. Hold this club. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Punch it out there. You hold this club right here so you go around the arm. Okay. Punch it. Good. I like the descent there. So I want him to get the feeling for the impact handle location being forward. Start driving the ball out, reducing the spin loss.
I've got 2 of these. That one hasn't got the gaff on the top. That's what it is.
So it comes down really steep, and this is what I was wanting to watch actually, is just how much this thing, what happens from this shaft coming through, and how fast the plane, how fast this thing is dropping, how fast it's lowering, which is pretty fast. In other words, that thing is laying down pretty quick. And Grant's is shallowing at a much slower rate.
Is that the right tilt contributing to
Yes, the right tilt and the combined movement going from internal to external. So he's doing the right tilt and the elbow going. Yeah, so the rate that this is shallowing is much slower.
Yeah, I see that.
Right, and I would associate this with the pushing
Yep.
and the drop kicking behind the into-out path. So when you come through, this is what I was talking about the tilt and how low your forearm is. See how when Grant's coming through, how his forearm and his shaft are almost in line with one another. And you see how much your forearm is, how much your club is way underneath your forearm there.
Yep. Yep.
So again, that tilting, which you mentioned, okay, you'll really start to be able to see, I think, the excessive side tilt coming through and how your head's almost going like towards the earth, towards the ground. So I think you have too much side tilt coming through.
Yeah.
Okay, I said that from the front. You do it. I can tell you're educated, because you see a lot of people swing way out to the right, like normally like that. So that would be what I would see if I looked at his swing. How would I show you to practice it? The first thing is I would start showing you how to take some of the closed club face off.
Yep.
And then I'd start showing you how to take some of the tilt on the downstroke off, and do them kind of incrementally.
Sure.
Because you're hitting the ball high with the tilting back and the overtaking rate.
Yep.
I'll do that first.
Sure.
And then you'll probably start pull drawing because of that closed face. And then I'm going to start ratcheting that face to square.
Sure.
All right?
Sounds good.
Okay, let's. So you, yeah, right.
Subtle.
Okay, so just have a look at that.
Yeah.
I think that any coach would probably see that.
Yeah.
Okay, just take a screenshot of that, Billy, and just have everybody take a quick look at that. And we'll do a few more while everyone looks at that. Internal rotation, how steep it got coming down. In the drill, you see how much more shallow the club is and how open the face is, which is what we'd be trying to get to. So there's the downstroke. Have a look. What I was working on the most is by the curve of the ball. And I know that this part's not going to curve to the left. It's going to take off some of the left. When he was hitting, I thought he would hook them all more so. He actually hit more thin, I think, when he was actually hitting, which told me that the strongest part, or the overriding part, the part that was the most, was this part was the fastest. That's the part I want to knock out, is the dorsiflex coming through the ball. So there's two, just have everyone take a look at that. The face to the shaft and the third accumulator. I'm going to do something So the terminology, Mac had a great way of explaining this. We haven't drawn it out yet. You guys take a look, you can see how in the original picture on the left, how the club has crossed the red line, how the shaft, sorry for drawing on there, how the shaft in yellow how the shaft is past the lead arm. Yeah. And that in and of itself would be the layback, the shallow hitting. So width, which means that when the shaft is parallel to the ground, in the shortest arc, it would be in between the legs. See how the club is in between the legs when it's parallel. And in the longest arc, when the shaft is parallel to the ground, you see how it's in parallel to the ground with the arm at the same time. So what I was wanting you to do is have the handle forward to lengthen out the follow-through arc. But you see how I'm not adding the ulnar here. I'm just pushing the handle forward as opposed to forward and upward. Okay, so do the same thing again.
It'll appear slightly lower than if I had ulnar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have you just keep, I'm going to add some color to that as we go through. How his trail arm was flexed and coming underneath it like this. And then the nuke to say 90 degrees. P4, and then P5 it comes down and it's still 90 degrees. It hasn't released yet. So it's loading and it continues loading all the way to P5. It's about 90 degrees at P5. And then it knows it needs to straighten out because we don't want it to tilt backward. And if it doesn't respond to keep the radius, to keep the body from tilting back, to lower this club down, you're going to use your tilt as opposed to your right arm straight.
Sure.
So we're going to straighten the arm and push it out away from you more to keep from tilting back and lengthen the follow through apart.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
So what I was going to say to you guys too is that it's helpful to know when you're teaching where would be the point for where the right arm would be straight. So I said, you set up and it's flexed a couple of degrees, 5 degrees, and it loads during the backstroke. It's 90 degrees at P5. Where's the point where it reaches 180 or straight? Where would that point be?
7.2.
Sorry?
7.2.
I'd say later than that.
Okay.
Okay, I'd say about 7.5 to 8, depending on the follicle arc. Okay, but my point is that it's well after impact. And then I would ask you, where's the point where it, or does it bend again?
Here.
Once it straightens, does it stay straight or does it bend again?
Yeah.
What would your answer be?
Around P9.
P9?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd say later. I'd
Okay.
say 9.5, it's still straight. Okay, I'd say the wrist heat rehinges, right arm's still straight, and after it's perpendicular to the ground, if you did a longer swing, that's the point where it would start to bend.
Sure.
So I want you to extend the arm longer, do short shots to where you don't even go to the bending point. Okay, to where you can just make it straight
Sure.
for practice. A little bit of color to how to
Sure.
practice that, so this doesn't feel so extreme, particularly that backstroke. Because I put these 2 dots here on the number 2 pressure point, the heel pad, and then on the dimple of the wrist, which is just about the wrist bone. And I would tell you to practice lining up those 2 dots to where they're along the shaft lean, or, you know, if anything, just a little bit to the right of the shaft lean,
Sure.
but not way to the right of the shaft lean.
Yeah.
Okay, so essentially I'd be telling you to move the hinge pin a little bit more to the top. But a lot of times when people do that in your teaching, when you teach them to line up to quote unquote weaken their grip, they'll move this point to the side. Right? I don't want you to do that. I want you to line the hinge pin up, not just weaken the grip by putting it more in your palm.
Yeah.
Right? So I use these 2 references for that.
Okay.
I'll let you just fiddle around with that.
You see how it's laying down at a slower rate than the other one? Where's Billy? Can you do the original there, the original caddy view on the side? So that practice follow through as it orbits around your left shoulder. It's on the front side, so your hands are to the left of the spine. On this side of the spine on the backstroke. It's on the other side of the spine on the downstroke. So we were practicing teaching Michael how to lengthen out, straighten the right arm, and retract his shoulder and move the left arm around his rib cage, or go to position 3 around him as opposed to just tilting backward. So we'll draw these lines real quick again. So the reason why I wanted to come down to the back view was to show you how that shaft was helping control the rate that the club was dropping behind you. Right. Look at that one. See how far it's dropping. Look at that shaft. See how it's like in the same line here? Watch the next one. I think it's going to be on the same line again.
Yep.
Or if anything across. See if anything it's down, if anything across. See how this one's going out still?
Yeah.
And we said that was the club dropping behind you was the thinning, the
Yeah.
pushing. That's
the
what
tilt.
I was wanting to knock out, was the amount that the club was dropping behind him, and then square the face up to the shaft.
Nice.
So we save that. So how do we do that? To the shaft. See that gap there? See the space? We draw the right forearm.
Okay, right, super, thanks, Phil. Cheers.
To the shaft. See how it's getting narrower?
Mm-hmm.
So someone said, what did I tell you? I said that the club was too close and across, and then it shallowed out too fast. And the shallowing out too fast was shifting the swing direction to the right, causing thinning and pushing.
Yep.
And the ratchet close of the club face was the pull draw. Square the face, move the arms around you,
Yep.
straighten the right arm.
Yep.
Okay?